The LA Ink Expo floor hummed with neon and tattoo machines, but one voice cut through it all, sharp, loud, and ready to wound.
Look at those lines. Looks like she's drawing on a moving bus. Is she drunk?
The crowd erupted, phones went up, laughter rolling across the convention floor like a wave.
Keep the needle steady. Breathe.
Her hand never faltered. The needle traced a perfect anchor curve, bold, confident, as if the room had never made a sound.
Seriously, did someone let their apprentice wander in here? This is the live competition, honey. We don't grade on effort.
A few faces in the crowd shifted, uncomfortable now, but most phone screens stayed locked on the girl who wouldn't crack.
They see what they want to see. Just finish the piece.
At the judges' table, the two older artists exchanged a long glance, but Patrick wasn't finished. He was just getting started.
You hear me? This isn't a beauty school. Traditional demands respect, and that arm says you don't have any.
Olivia set down the machine. She wiped the final stencil away, the peach and anchor now bold and clean against skin.
That's solid traditional work. Clean pull lines, consistent saturation. You've got a steady hand.
The color packing is beautiful. This is exactly what we're looking for in this category.
Patrick didn't even glance at the tattoo. He was already scribbling a score on his card.
I've seen better from walk-in shops. Line weights inconsistent, shading's muddy, pass at best.
He held up the card. A 5 out of 10. Even the crowd went quiet.
A 5? That's out of line. That piece is an 8 minimum. You are letting something personal cloud your judgment.
I agree with Frank. I'd score it a 9. The anchor detail alone is exquisite.
Patrick's jaw tightened. His eyes flicked to the crowd, then back to the two older judges.
You want to coddle her, fine, but I am the head judge. My score stands.
Patrick wasn't done. He leaned into the microphone, his voice dropping to a growl that carried across the silent floor.
Nobody walks in here with lines that clean unless they're cheating. Roll up your sleeves. Prove you didn't bring a ringer stencil.
The crowd murmured, a few heads shaking. Cheating was a serious accusation, and everyone heard it.
He wants a show? Fine. Let him look. But he won't see the one thing that matters.
Slowly, deliberately, Olivia unbuttoned the cuff of her left sleeve. She didn't look at the judges. She didn't need to. She pushed the fabric past her elbow, revealing a full sleeve of traditional Americana. Eagles mid-flight, roses with thorns, a dagger through a heart. All healed, bold and flawless. Not a single hint of a hidden stencil.
That's not a stencil. That's a lifetime of work.
That sleeve is yours. The saturation, the line weight, the consistency. It's exceptional. I haven't seen work like that in years.
I've been doing this since I was 19. Every line on my arm is mine.
So you can ink yourself. Impressive. But it doesn't mean you didn't use a ringer stencil on the competition piece. Show me the other arm, now.
Olivia's hand went to the cuff of her right sleeve and stopped. For the first time, she hesitated, fingers hovering over the fabric.
There it is. She's hiding something. You saw her roll up the other one like it was nothing. This is guilt.
It's personal. That arm isn't part of the competition. I showed you the sleeve you asked for.
Young lady, I understand privacy, but Patrick's made a formal accusation. To clear it, I think we need to see just the forearm.
He won't stop until he sees something. But this isn't for him. It's not for any of them. With respect, sir, no. The mark I carry there isn't for a competition floor.
You hear that? She admits she's got a mark, some cheat sheet. Disqualify her right now, or this whole expo is a joke.
The crowd buzzed, split. Some yelled for her to show it. Others shouted down Patrick's bullying. Phones stayed up, recording every second.
Last chance. Roll it up or walk. I'll have security escort you out for cheating.
Then call them. But I am not showing my right arm to a man who's already decided I am a fraud.
The crowd wasn't just watching anymore. A low wave of boos rose from the back, directed not at Olivia, but at Patrick.
That's enough, Patrick. You've made an accusation, but you don't get to strip search a competitor on a hunch.
I've judged 37 live competitions. Not once has a hidden stencil been under a second sleeve. He's fishing.
For a flicker, Olivia wasn't in Los Angeles. She was 14, in a garage that smelled of turpentine and dedication. A man's gravelly voice cutting through her mistakes.
Slow down, girl. Let the machine do the work. Don't fight the skin.
Oh, I see. So you had a teacher? Some back shop scratcher who told you good enough is good enough is good enough.
But the crowd didn't laugh. The joke had worn thin. Phones still recorded, but the fingers that held them were no longer amused.
Every artist worth their salt had a mentor. Mine was a Marine who tattooed in Okinawa. You don't belittle the lineage.
My teacher taught me when to speak, and when to let the work speak for itself. Right now, I am choosing the second.
Talk all you want about some ghost teacher. If he's so great, why hasn't anyone heard of him? Show the arm, or you are a liar.
Frank raised a hand, stilling the room. There's a simpler way, he said, stepping toward Olivia's station.
I'll inspect her equipment myself. If there's a hidden stencil, I'll find it. If there isn't, Patrick, you drop this.
I'll join you. 2 sets of eyes. No accusations later.
Olivia gave a quiet nod and stepped aside, gesturing toward her work tray with the calm of someone who had nothing to hide. Frank lifted the machine, checked the needle housing, flipped the disposable cover. Nothing. Miriam opened the power supply case, ran a hand through the ink caps. Clean.
No stencil sheets. No printed images. Just standard equipment. She's running a clean station.
Patrick's face darkened. He scanned the crowd, seeing his grip slipping, and gripped the mic tighter.
So she's got a clean station. That doesn't explain how a nobody from nowhere pulls lines like a 40-year veteran.
I had a good teacher. The kind who doesn't measure skill by Instagram followers.
Frank and Miriam exchanged a glance, one that said this wasn't just an apprentice. The mystery of her training now hung heavier than the accusation.
I am done playing games. Roll up the right arm, or I'll have you disqualified for obstruction.
Olivia, I believe you. But for the competition to go forward, we need to put this to rest.
There's no way out now. If this is how it has to be, then let it mean something. All right. But remember, I didn't want this to be a spectacle.
She looked at Frank, and the old artist gave a small, solemn nod. That was all she needed. The crowd fell into a deep silence. Not a single phone camera wavered. The whole convention seemed to be holding its breath. Olivia reached for the cuff of her right sleeve with the same slow deliberation she'd used on the left. Her fingers closed on the dark fabric, but this time, her hand stopped for just a beat longer. She closed her eyes.
This is for you, old man, not for them.
Then she began to roll it up, 1 inch, 2, and the edge of a dark line appeared against her skin, and the convention went dead still. Olivia's fingers stopped halfway up her forearm. For the first time, they trembled, just slightly, but everyone saw.
Oh, another sleeve? More flash art. We've seen one already, sweetheart.
It's not flash.
Go on, girl. Show them what you need to show.
She drew a breath and continued, the fabric sliding past the dark line, revealing not an image but something written, intricate letters forming a name. The edge of an M appeared. Then an A, not a design, but a signature. The crowd leaned forward, trying to read.
What is that? Some kind of autograph? You think a signed arm gets you a pass?
Almost there. Let them all see what they've been mocking.
Frank stepped closer, his old eyes narrowing behind thick lenses. He could almost make it out. The sleeve reached her elbow, and now the ink was half exposed. And the 2 older judges went pale. In one smooth motion, Olivia pushed the sleeve past her elbow and extended her right arm toward the judges. Bare, bold, finely exposed. The 3 judges leaned forward as one, their faces hovering over the edge of the table, eyes locked on the mark. Frank pressed his glasses tight against his eyes. The color drained from his weathered face in real time.
Oh God. Frank, is that?
He didn't answer. Frank leaned so far forward he nearly toppled over the table. his stare fixed and unblinking.
It can't be, not after all this time.
Patrick scoffed, but his brow creased. He still hadn't seen. He craned his neck, trying to read the fine script himself, for a long second. The only sound in the building was the hum of neon and the shiver of held breath. Frank straightened slowly, his hands trembling on the table. His voice, when it came, was barely a whisper.
Is that really Mike? M.M. Malone, 1998.
The name dropped like a stone, and Miriam let out a sound between a gasp and a sob.
Mike Malone, the lost heir of Sailor Jerry. He's alive?
Who? Some washed-up old-timer.
Washed up? Boy, you don't know what you are saying. Mike Malone is the living link to Sailor Jerry, the best traditional hand on Earth.
The crowd was on its feet now, phones flashing, the story already breaking online.
He vanished in '99. Nobody's seen him tattoo in a quarter century. But that signature is his, and it's the only one I've ever seen outside a museum.
Olivia's eyes glistened, but she held her arm perfectly still, letting the ink speak. Patrick's face twisted, anger and fear fighting for control. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Frank pulled out his phone. The hall went completely silent.
You think a name inked on her arm proves anything? Could be fake, could be stolen. Any scratcher can sign a signature.
It's not fake. He was my teacher for 4 years, in his garage.
Wait, girl. 1998, you can't be older than 30. How could he have signed you then?
The date isn't when I got it. It's the year he put down his machines. He said, "Tradition lives in the years you honor, not the year you are born."
Oh, I understand. Many old masters mark their retirement date on their final apprentice. It's a passing of the torch.
That fits. Malone was always more about legacy than calendar.
Pretty story. But a mark isn't proof. Anyone can claim to be an apprentice. Show us evidence. Photos, letters, something.
He needs to hear it from the source. Fine.
Frank held up his phone, his thumb hovering over a contact hidden for 25 years. The crowd leaned in, the moment-stretching wire taut. No one breathed.
So an invisible legend trained you? And we're supposed to believe that without a single photo or witness.
I don't need a photo. I know that line work. I saw Mike sign a piece once. It's real. He signed a sailor's arm in '92 with the same flourish, the loop on the M, the curl on the M, the curl on the E. Unmistakable.
A ripple moved through the crowd, heads nodding, a few people shouting. Let her finish. The tide had turned. Patrick's collar darkened with sweat. He tugged at it, his eyes darting from Frank to the restless crowd.
That was 30 years ago. Memories fade. I want real proof. Someone who can verify right now.
Frank held the phone higher, his thumb steady over the call button. The hall fell silent again.
Call him. Let the legend speak.
The boos in the hall swelled, a wave of sound pushing Patrick back in his chair.
You want verification? Fine. I'll give you the only witness that matters.
Frank's thumb pressed the call button. A dial tone cut through the silence, loud and sharp.
You really have his number? In your phone? That's rich.
I've had it for 30 years, son. I just never had cause to use it.
He turned the screen toward the crowd. The contact card read, Mike Malone, 808 area code.
It's really happening. After all this time.
The ringing tone pulsed through the hall. Once, twice. Every phone in the crowd stayed locked on the stage.
This is a stunt. A number doesn't mean he'll answer.
Frank's hand didn't waver. Olivia's lips pressed into a thin line, but her eyes were calm. On the third ring, a soft click. The line connected. No voice yet, just a held breath on both ends.
Mike, it's Frank. I'm at the LA Ink Expo. There's a girl here with your mark on her arm.
Frank, after all these years, this better be important.
It is, Mike. I am at the LA Ink Expo. There's a girl here with your mark on her arm. She says she trained with you.
Put her on.
Frank stepped back and extended the phone toward Olivia. She took it with both hands, cradling it like something fragile.
After all this time, he's really there.
She lifted the phone to eye level, and the screen filled with a weathered face she hadn't seen in years. Malone's eyes crinkled, older, but sharp as ever, and a long pause hung in the digital space between them. The crowd didn't make a sound. Every phone camera was still raised, but no one moved. Olivia's lips parted, 1,000 unsaid words on the edge of them, and then, into the silence, she drew a breath and spoke.
Hey, old man.
A low chuckle rumbled through the phone, gravelly and warm, like a forgotten road still drivable.
This is a prank. You hired some old guy to pretend. That doesn't prove anything.
Who's that?
That's a judge, Mike. A loud one with a reality show. He's been trying to discredit her all day.
A long silence. The line didn't disconnect, but nothing came through except the faint hiss of ocean wind.
Olivia, show them the mark. Let them see exactly what I put on you.
She didn't hesitate. Olivia extended her right arm, and the convention cameras zoomed in, projecting the signature onto every screen in the hall. Monsieur Malone, 1998, glowed 10 feet tall. The crowd saw it, and for the second time that day, the hall went utterly silent. On the phone, Malone's face was stone. He stared at the screen in his own hand, watching the mark he'd made, and waited for the noise to die.
I haven't tattooed publicly since '99, but I never stopped teaching. The last apprentice I trained is standing right there. She's the real deal.
She's nobody. You expect me to believe a voice on a phone?
Son, you are embarrassing yourself. Sit down and stop talking.
The words landed like a physical blow. Patrick froze mid-shout, his mouth still open, the color draining from his face as the silence stretched.
There it is. The voice that never wavered, the man who never let disrespect stand.
Frank allowed himself one slow nod. A grim, satisfied smile carved across his weathered face.
You don't have to believe me, but that mark is mine, and I stand by it. Always have.
The crowd didn't move. A sea of raised phones, every eye locked on the stage, a held breath refusing to break. And in the heavy silence, the whole convention waited for the legend to finish what he started.
This is a joke. Some old man on a phone doesn't make her legit. She could have found anyone to scribble that.
Malone's eyes narrowed on the screen, the patience of decades wearing thin.
Olivia, lift your arm again.
She raised her arm without hesitation, the mark glowing under the stage lights.
I put that mark there with my own hands. She is the only living person with my name on her skin.
The hall hung on every word, a held breath shared by hundreds.
Now, one more thing.
A pause dropped into the silence, stretching like a wire pulled too tight. Patrick's throat bobbed, his mouth opened, but no sound came. The entire convention waited. The silence absolute, the weight of what might come next pressing down on every soul.
I am leaving her my flash sheets and every machine I ever owned. She's the heir to the Sailor Jerry tradition.
The hall erupted, a roar that shook the stage, phones waving like flags. Olivia stood motionless, the phone a warm weight in her hand, the noise distant as if heard through water.
You earned it, kid.
Patrick stumbled back, his heel catching the stage edge. He grabbed the table to stay standing.
He kept it. Every hour in that garage, every lecture, he kept his promise.
Patrick scanned the crowd, but they were flooding toward her. He was already invisible. On the giant screen, the signature pulsed like a second heartbeat, Malone's face watching over it all. A tear slid down her cheek, but her smile was steady. The world finally saw what he had always known. Malone raised a hand in farewell. The screen went dark, and the crowd surged forward. Patrick stumbled off the stage, his exit unseen. The crowd had already moved on.
Thank you.
It's my honor to announce the winner of this live traditional competition. By unanimous decision, Olivia.
The crowd erupted again, a wall of sound that washed over her, carrying her name. Frank and Miriam stepped forward, pulling her into a group embrace as the audience surged. They made a path for her, but she paused, turning back toward the darkened phone as if to carry him forward too. A reporter with a microphone was already weaving toward her, cameras hot, but she didn't seem to notice.
This isn't about winning. It's about honoring the craft, and the man who taught me what that means.
The crowd parted a little for her, not as a competitor anymore, but as a bridge between generations. She had walked in a stranger, but she walked out carrying a legacy. A reporter thrust a microphone toward her and asked what she felt, winning under such fire. Olivia didn't blink.
This was never about fame. It was about the work, about the line, about the man who taught me.
By the time she finished speaking, the clip of Malone telling Patrick to sit down had already hit 8 million views. A muted television in the corner of the expo scrolled the chyron. Reality star shamed by living legend. The network issued a terse statement. They were reviewing the situation and had no further comment. His verified Instagram, 4 million followers that morning, was bleeding by the minute, but she moved through the crowd with quiet grace, untouched by the noise.
They can have the noise. I have the needle and his name on my skin. That's enough.
The day belonged to her, but she only spoke of him, the legend who stayed hidden, yet whose echo would never fade. And somewhere in Hawaii, a phone rested on a wooden table, the last call still glowing on its screen. Weeks later, a quiet headline scrolled across a muted television. Network quietly cancels Patrick's reality show. His Instagram had shed 3 million followers. The account stayed up, but the comments were locked, a monument of silence. In Birmingham, a postman handed Olivia a box with a Honolulu postmark, and she carried it to her desk with careful hands. She opened it, and inside lay vintage flash sheets, hand-painted, unmistakable, the original lines of a master. A folded note rested on top. It read, "Kid, these are yours now. You were the last one worth teaching. Keep the line clean." Meh, a tear dropped onto the old paper. She caught it with her sleeve before it could smudge the ink. She chose the most weathered flash, a Sailor Jerry anchor, and pinned it to her wall, right above her grandfather's photo. The shop felt fuller now, as if the walls remembered who had been there before. And when the first client knocked, she picked up her machine with the same steady hand, the same quiet smile. She was ready. The needle, the line, the name on her skin, all of it finally in its right place. She traced the signature on her inner forearm, the ink so familiar it felt like a second pulse. A photograph stood on the shelf. Mike Malone with Sailor Jerry, together from decades past. The line that began with them now rested in her hands. The shop settled into its quiet evening light, the walls heavy with memory. Another client would come tomorrow, and the day after, the little bell above the door ringing in the next story. But tonight, she stood alone with the needle, the hum of the machine a prayer to everything that had come before.
The needle never lies. Keep it clean, kid.
The sign outside read Olivia's traditional tattoo, a name that now carried an invisible crown. And somewhere, under a Hawaiian sunset, a legend closed his eyes, knowing the line would hold. The needle never lies. It never has.